The Tennessee Army National Guard coin toss. Referee Ken Killebrew, our white hat tonight, as the Rossview Hawks and the Clarksville Wildcats, two 0-2 teams, meet for a rivalry matchup, kicking off the Region 5-6A slate. And it looks like Clarksville will have the football first. This triple option offense that is still looking to get going in 2025. Led by head coach Isaac Shelby, the head coach and play caller in his 12th season at Clarksville High. Beautiful weather tonight, 77 degrees. Cloudy skies as we try to stave off some storms for the 24th edition of the Warfield Shield. Clarksville 18-5. They have held onto the Shield since 2016. Jam-packed crowd here at Rossview High School. Hoping to see that streak snapped tonight. Teeing up the kickoff is sophomore backup kicker Ethan Cox. Back deep to receive is Jamarcus Watkins. And we are underway with a bouncing kick that'll be fielded. No, Watkins will let it bounce past the 10. Picking it up on the hop. The speedy corner is dragged down inside the 20. Good kick coverage for Rossview to start things off, and the Clarksville offense will take the field here for the first time tonight. Ball will be spotted at the 17-yard line. We're going to get a look at quarterback Caden Pledger, the junior starter. Was part of a three-man rotation last season, but Bruno, now it's his show, and he's marshaling this triple option offense, hopefully for Clarksville, on their way to another rivalry win tonight.
And when you hear a triple option, you think almost 99, 100% pass. They think with Pledger that they have an opportunity to throw it, and they will air it out on downs that they deem necessary.
And they do want to get the ball into the hands of their playmakers, however necessary. But right now it'll be Pledger with Avari Galbraith lining up next to him in the backfield. Keeping it on the ground with Galbraith, and he is swarmed at the line of scrimmage. Rossview dealing with 1st and 10 well on the opening series. Avari Galbraith, the junior running back, going to try to get him involved tonight, will the Clarksville Wildcats. Losses to Blackman and Springfield to open up the season. Rossview with losses to Springfield and Kirkwood. As we take a look at the BMC Metalworks starters for the Clarksville offense, Jamarcus Watkins, our player to watch, number 7, holds that Vanderbilt offer, speedy guy in the backfield. They're really looking to get him going early on, and this isn't going to help. Rossview swarming to the football. It's Galbraith again on the carry, and a host of Hawks taking him down. Let's look at the defensive starters for Rossview. Number 1, Philip Shipstead, 38 tackles already on the season. He leads this linebacking core that's got quite the task in front of them tonight.
We mentioned Rossview's key coming into the game. Stop the run. Clarksville reduce critical errors, and so far it's gone Rossview's way. They've stopped it on the first 2 downs. Very impressive run stops. They have Clarksville backed up off of a box return. It's going their way so far this first series.
3rd and 7. Clarksville, winners of 7 Warfield Shields in a row. Handing off to Galbraith, shakes the tackle, trying to bulldoze his way for the first down, and he does. Galbraith with his 3rd straight carry gets the Clarksville Hawks out of a hole, and that is a first down for the road team. A BMC Metalworks chain mover. BMC Metalworks, an industry leader in CNC machining and steel fabrication services, celebrating over 5 decades of excellence.
It's the sort of pace we can expect, Lucas. Even on a 3rd and long, Clarksville, they're not going to be scared to run it. That is their entire offensive identity. That I think they call it the spread triple option, Lucas.
Galbraith, a legacy player in multiple ways, as a flag flies in the backfield early. Might have some movement here on an offense that's just trying to get going this season.
Right of the snap. We have false start. Offense number 66. That's 5 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
I'll back it up 5 yards. And you mentioned it in pregame, Bruno. Both of these teams 0-2, but tough early slates. It's kind of what both coaches wanted, especially in the case of Clarksville head coach Isaac Shelby. To get a look at the first penalty of the game. Talked about wanting to see that early season adversity a little bit more after back-to-back undefeated regular seasons for Clarksville. But first-round exits in the playoffs the last 2 years. This time they'll get Josh Anderson involved, and he's able to get it back to the original line of scrimmage.
It's a good tackle there by Jordan Culp, the senior, on the edge there. He also was able to get Galbraith over the top on the block. But you mentioned it, Lucas. I mean, a lot of history in this game, too. We mentioned Galbraith. That's a name that's legendary in Clarksville High. More on that later. But it looks like Clarksville's able to stay on the field. Still second and long as the officials look to take a timeout here. Another thing you mentioned, Lucas, both of these teams 0-2. Now, they both played against Springfield, where I currently teach, too. So a lot of weird on top of the connections. But I've got to see the film, essentially, of both these teams. And it's still two very good football teams. But once you hit that 0-3 mark, which one of these teams will have to do tonight, that's a tough climb back for your team mentally.
That's Isaac Shelby, 68 wins, the all-time winningest coach in Clarksville history. They give it to the man in motion here, and stifled at the line of scrimmage is DJ Bracey on his first carry, another third down situation. Isaac Shelby, who took over right after you graduated from Clarksville High School, brought in this triple option, and it has helped the Wildcats to 20 wins in the last 2 years, but they're looking for their first win of 2025 here tonight.
We'll get a shot on Coach Shelby later.
3rd and 10. More motion, and brought down well short of the sticks is Bryson Ellington, the senior. It brings up 4th down, and this Rossview defense gets the stop it needed to open up the series.
A lot of moving parts in the triple option offense, so the key on defense is you have to trust your assignment. You're going to have a key, and you're going to be asked to play a player, play a position, and that was a great job there all the way through for Rossview.
Stop made by Beckett Hasselhoon, the utility man for the Rossview Hawks. They move him around on both sides of the ball. Going to be calling his name a lot tonight. Whistle blows before quarterback Caden Pledger could get the snap. It was looking like a potential pooch punt.
We have timeout. Rossview, they're first.
Rossview wants to take its first time out of the half, and we're going to take one too. In the opening series of the Warfield Shield, scoreless between these two crosstown rivals on MyTV 30. Bart Durham Injury Law Anthem moment ahead of this rivalry matchup. 24th edition of the Warfield Shield. And you can feel the energy in this building. The entire town of Clarksville, it feels like, is on hand tonight. Rossview Hawks hosting the Clarksville Wildcats. Glad to have you with us in Week 3 on MyTV 30. Lucas Panzica, Bruno Reagan in the booth, Sammy Kincaid down on the sideline. Your record against Rossview, if I'm not mistaken, 3-1 in your days.
Well, I only played 3 years. That's what makes it confusing. And you're asking me to go, but I played a lot of football after high school, so it's hard to think. I will say, my senior year, we did lose it at home. So we're one of the 5 losses, but it's true. It was a tough one. And they had a good team that year. They had a lot of good players.
Well, those are certainly the games that these kids remember once their high school careers are in the rear view. But for quarterback Caden Pledger, he's got plenty more. The junior Pooch punts it away on 4th down, and it'll be fielded on the punt at the 40-yard line, coming to the near side and thrown down. For Rossview, that is Robert Hall, and the Hawks will get a chance to bring out the offense for the first time tonight. Similar storylines to what Clarksville has dealt with in the first 2 weeks. 0-2 record, but tough strength of schedule. That Springfield matchup that they both dealt with, and then a road loss to Kirkwood that's had a really nice start to the season, 39-14 last week. And there you see quarterback Dawson Deere, the junior. It's his show this year. Been backing up 3-year starter Reed Bryant. And his coaching staff really just loves the way that he is leading the team while kind of figuring out the nuances of the position.
Absolutely. I think talking to both of these coaches, that's kind of the thing, is they need to figure it out. And whoever does that, and that's such a, loose term, figure it out. Growing into the role, becoming a leader, it's a growing pain for a young man. But the sooner you hit it, the sooner those W's start to stack up.
Keep it on the ground. It is a run-heavy attack that Rossview touts. They give it to C.J. Stuckey. Had a 100-yard performance last week in that loss against Kirkwood. You got to look at the BMC Metalworks starting lineups for Rossview's offense. Mentioned Stuckey, the lead back. Cole Crockett, number 5 at wide receiver. They get him back, an all-region receiver from last year. Missed the first 2 games of the season. They are happy to have the senior back in the lineup. They're facing a 2nd and 11 after the loss on 1st down. Hasselhoon will get the carry. He is strung out and dropped for another loss. That time Max Cunningham came down for his 20th tackle of the season, and Rossview going backwards. Take a look at the defensive starters. Carter Pledger, the younger brother of quarterback Caden Pledger, and Jamarcus Watkins, the speedy corner. We mentioned his offer from Vanderbilt. See if he is stuck like glue to Cole Crockett, the primary target in this Rossview passing attack, which they might have to lean into here on 3rd and long. 13 yards to pick up to move the chains. Dawson Deere coming into the game 7 of 20 for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception at quarterback. And plenty of early laundry in this one. A flag falls in the defensive backfield. Ran out of time. Delay of game. Rossview will back it up, making it 3rd and 18 here.
Not a lot of a sense of urgency there. Could be a little bit of the down the distance trying to figure out. And when you're both, when we say run heavy, it might be run only sometimes. So you get in those 3rd and longs, it's hard to kind of cook up a play where you feel comfortable as we get a look at Coach Young, head coach of the Rossview Hawks.
Strady Young took over for the retired Todd Hood, and his first season was the defensive coordinator for this Rossview squad for the last 2 years. Dump it down to Hasselhoon, and he will be unable to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Picks up positive yardage, but it'll bring up 4th down. And both defenses standing strong in the opening series of this game. Beckett Hasselhoon, the junior, who you will see at running back. You'll see him catching passes out of the backfield like that. Might see him kicking the football tonight as Rossview is dealing with a big blow, the injury to all-region kicker Mick Casto. And Hasselhoon is going to go ahead and stay on the field to punt this thing away. Low snap, but the junior has it blocked. It is blocked and fielded, and Clarksville will take over with excellent field position. Avari Galbraith able to pluck it out of the air, and a Rossview squad that blocked 2 punts itself last week now has a punt blocked against its crosstown rival.
It looked like that there were 2 young Clarksville players up in the air. It looked like Nate Prada got his hand on it first, the junior linebacker making the play on the special teams, but of course Avari Galbraith, a.k.a. Johnny on the spot, that play right underneath where the ball was falling. A big turnover for Clarksville. They've struggled with turnovers in their own special teams unit. They get a gift here in the first quarter.
Yeah, Clarksville with 2 turnovers on punt team last week, and they force one this time around. That's Strady Young, who has a big emphasis on upholding the special team standard that his predecessor Todd Hood implemented, and that time Rossview has it blocked, in Clarksville with excellent field position, battling forward for a yard there. Zavari Galbraith getting a lot of run early on here in this Clarksville backfield. Came into the game with just 7 carries. And Galbraith there picks up his 4th carry of the night for 17 yards. The junior brought down by Demarion Brooks.
Zavari Galbraith taking a back step there a little bit into the backfield. Brooks was there to secure the tackle.
Pledger's going to throw, airs it out, has a man, it's caught. Touchdown, Wildcats. Running free into the end zone is Kanan Orton, and his 2nd catch of the season is good for 6. That is a South College touchdown by Clarksville High School. South College, where dreams find direction.
And you mentioned Caden Pledger was in a 3-man rotation last season. This season, he's the man to go. And last season, I would say they were arguably even more closer to 100% run. But with Pledger, they think that they can throw the ball effectively. And right there, he finds Orton, the senior receiver, to put Clarksville up first in the battle for the Warfield Shield.
Extra point team on the field. So both offenses forced to punt it away on their opening series, but the blocked punt results in points for Clarksville. And here's an illegal substitution call against the Hawks. That'll make this extra point just a little more manageable. And after the penalty, it looks as though Clarksville is going to line up and go for 2 here. They're going to snap it straight to Galbraith, who powers in, and the 2-point conversion is good. An 8-0 lead for the Wildcats, and everything breaking their way early in this one.
What a smart call by Coach Shelby and the Wildcat offense here. As we start to head, stay with us. Clarksville strikes first. Pledger over the air.
He did, though. He threw it over.
Hello. Okay. Staff Sergeant Kinsey, Kinsey Fitzgerald.
It is so hot.
Very hot up here in the booth.
I'm not usually awkward, but when something gets recorded, it's weird.
You got this. 20 seconds back.
I think you turned the TVs off somehow.
All I did was move back. Oh, I think we're coming back.
Welcome back to Rossview High School, where Clarksville is currently leading 8-0, and I am currently joined by Staff Sergeant Kinsey Fitzgerald. And first off, thank you so much for your service, and thank you for joining me here tonight.
Thank you for your support.
And can you tell me, how is the Tennessee Army National Guard different from other military branches?
The Tennessee Army National Guard is different from other branches because we serve both a state and a local mission. So we help with a lot of emergencies, disasters, and things around the state. You get to serve your local community as opposed to just the large United States as a whole.
And if somebody wants to join, they can have a lot of different jobs in the Tennessee Army National Guard. So what are some of those jobs?
Yes, ma'am. So you can be a barrel-chested freedom fighter, and that's what a lot of people think that the Tennessee Army National Guard does. We also have administrative jobs, cooks, truck drivers, medical, like myself, I'm a combat medic. Really anything you can think of in the aviation world, you name it, and you can do it in the Tennessee Army National Guard.
That's incredible. There's so many different opportunities, and everyone talks about the benefits of being in the military, but what benefit is specific to the Tennessee Army National Guard?
Tennessee Army National Guard, being a service member, you get to use the Tennessee Strong Act, which can pay up to 100% of in-state tuition at any state school.
Wow, that's incredible. Thank you so much again for your service and for joining me, and thank you to the Tennessee Army National Guard for being a sponsor of Friday Night Rivals. Guys, up to you.
Thank you, Sammy. Kick here from Hudson's going to bounce out of bounds, and the flag will fall, so Rossview will get some good field position for its second series of the night, and it is a beautiful night in Clarksville. We welcome you back. The Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by UA Local 572. Here's Ken Killebrew.
But like, fucking, I think Jeff told me that like 10 years ago. If they're anywhere in 30.
Just a few miles away from Fort Campbell, always a heavy military presence. So many that have served in the building tonight, including one of the Rossview Sideline that we'll hear more from Sammy Kincaid later on. And the Hawks looking to strike back here after a blocked punt led to a Clarksville touchdown. Dawson Reed, the quarterback, gives, running around the right side. Stuckey, speedy back, wheels around for a BMC Metalworks first down.
Good explosive run here for Rossview to threaten the middle of the field. Get a look at Stuckey, who's danger on the edge. They'll look to spread the Clarksville defense out.
Averaging almost 8 yards per carry this season. C.J. Stuckey, the junior, puts the ball on the Rossview 46. Deere fakes one way, wants to throw, pump fakes, has a man, Hasselhoon wide open. Beckett Hasselhoon across the 10. Touchdown, Rossview. How's that for an answer? 2 plays, 60 yards. Beckett Hasselhoon, 54 to Pater.
That pass from Deere to Hasselhoon was set up by a lot of misdirection in the backfield, and a good mobile play by Deere, able to keep his eyes down the field, knowing exactly where he wanted to take that football to his junior quarterback, running back, tight end hybrid. They find him on that inside hash where you so often find those size mismatches, but he was wide open. Rossview strikes back.
Second receiving touchdown of the season for Hasselhoon, and no hesitation. Rossview wants to tie it up here with the 2-point conversion. Quick throw, Deere, left side, it's broken up. Broken up by Watkins. And Clarksville will keep a 2-point lead.
Those 2 points that Clarksville were able to steal off the penalty could come into effect as we get later into this game. But if there's one thing I know about the Warfield Shield, is that this game always comes down to the wire. Recent history has seen a little bit more of a dominance in Clarksville in the series. Rossview looking to take away some of those wins.
Let's go down to the field for Sammy Kincaid, giving us a little more info on the military connection here with the Rossview Hawks.
729.
All right, we'll circle back to Sammy, working through some technical issues down there on the sideline. So Rossview is going to kick it away. That's exactly the answer that Strady Young and his team needed. In his first season, coming off an 8-win campaign in 2024, which for Rossview was the most wins they had in the season in about 10 years. 2014, the last time the Hawks program won 8 or more games. And they're just trying to carry that over into tonight, and the magnitude of this one, with the rivalry aspect to it, what a way it would be for either team to pick up their first win of the season. As DeMarcus Watkins twirls his way across the 30 down to the 34-yard line. And we'll see this Clarksville offense one more time. Strady Young and his team going 2 plays, 65 yards, less than a minute off the clock. Exactly what they needed in response. Hasselhoon with a second receiving touchdown of the season.
And Lucas, I don't think anybody in this stadium, coaching staff, player, could imagine that the Warfield Shield game this year with these two offenses would be an 8-6 lead for Clarksville, with both touchdowns being over the air. It's a very unique situation here we have in the first quarter.
That's a good point. 2 run-heavy offenses, especially Clarksville, flexing that triple option, going right up the middle with it here. And picking up a few, that is Bryson Ellington, the lead rusher for this Clarksville squad. Let's send it back down to Sammy on the sideline.
Hey guys, heard you toss it to me that time. Sorry about that. Coach Young, we were talking about the military a little bit ago, and he has quite the career as a coach across the country, but he's had these opportunities to coach across the country because he was coaching at schools near wherever he was stationed. Yes, Coach Young spent 20 years in the military as an intelligence officer. The coaching began whenever he was stationed in Fairbanks, Alaska, when a casual football conversation at church with the coach led to a polite gesture of saying, hey, come coach with us this week. And he thought it was a joke. He thought that he was being sarcastic, and so he let it slide. And then a couple weeks later, Coach said, where are you at? I really want you down on my sidelines. And so Coach said, all right, I'm there. And he started coaching, and he's never looked back. He's coached in Alaska, Arizona, all across the country. And he really credits his military background to everything that he's able to do now as a head coach for the first time. And we said, is it ironic that you're here close to Fort Campbell? And he said, it actually took 3 times that the military sent me to Clarksville before I finally moved here.
Big play downfield on the catch and run past the 30 and dragged down. That is Carter Pledger, the brotherly connection there. Caden to Carter. And it's another big-time BMC Metalworks chain mover for Clarksville.
It's the first time we mentioned Carter's name. He had 2 big plays on defense, a two-way player in there. He finds the pocket inside of the zone. Great timing between brother to brother. I wonder if they have that sort of telepathic connection. The sophomore, his older brother, the junior quarterback on the team.
That's his 3rd catch of the season, Carter Pledger. That one goes for 29 as a Rossview man is down and being looked at here. So both teams will huddle up. Certainly in these moments, you hope it's cramping as the young man is helped up, and that is Damani Wilson, the Rossview senior. Grady Young, back to Sammy's point, what a path to being on the sideline here at Rossview High School. 20 years as an intelligence officer in the Army. Of course, we thank him for his service, and it's just the way that football has been weaved into his military career. It was so cool talking to him about that this week. Been retired from the military 7 years, and now here he is patrolling a sideline just a few miles away from Fort Campbell.
Especially with the success that Clarksville football, the entire region, with Kirkwood's success, Clarksville these past 2 regular seasons, he's looking to get Rossview on that track and in that conversation, starting to make a splash in the mid-state picture of football.
Says he just fell in love with the process of watching kids develop. Did 3 tours in the Middle East and came back to coach high school football in between each tour, and now he's in it for good. And the Hawks are glad to have him, but his defense is looking to bow up here after giving up a big play. They're going to go right up the middle. Ellington around the pile and into the end zone. Touchdown, Clarksville. We've got fireworks here in the Warfield Shield. Ellington goes 25 yards to Pater, and that's another South College touchdown.
Take a look. The triple option makes a lot of misdirection, so Bryson Ellington gets the football, and he gets lost in the traffic of the dead center of the field. Typically, your options are the fullback, halfback dive, the quarterback keeper, and the quarterback pitch. A lot of eyes and key playing on the edge there. Ellington just keeping his feet turning through the traffic. Exactly how you coach it up for a triple option football team.
Flag is down.
Good defense.
So some issues down on the field with Ken Killebrew's mic, but it is against the Hawks. And Bruno, that's the 2nd time that Rossview has committed a penalty following a touchdown. It's going to set up a short field for Clarksville's 2-point attempt. If it is indeed a 2-point attempt, which looks like it will be. They're going to snap it straight to Watkins. He's got a clear path into the end zone. A 2nd straight 2-point conversion good. The lead is 16-6 for the Wildcats.
Physical football. I think there were 2 men in the backfield. Everyone else was lined up on the goal line. As we get a South College touchdown for the Clarksville Wildcats. We'll take another look. Look at this formation. This is goal line. 1 man spread out wide. Oh, this is the touchdown right here. Excuse me. So we're watching the touchdown from Ellington with the fullback misdirection. We see Ellington squeeze through. Only 1 defensive tackle there really to make the play, and then he's off to the gates to set up for that 2-point conversion. Clarksville converting on 2 2-point conversions in a row, making the score 16-6. Scoregami, perhaps. as we see a good handle right there by Clarksville. And Watkins, who was our player to watch, they had to get him going. He gets some points on the board for Clarksville in that 2-point conversion, able to handle that wide snap.
So after a slow start for both offenses, they've both come alive a little bit here in the first quarter. 4 plays, 66 yards, just under 3 minutes of a scoring drive in response to the Rossview touchdown. And here we go, blow for blow in the Warfield Shield early on in the 24th edition of this rivalry.
You know, that's how the conversation starts when you come into this game. It's like, well, it's 2 0-2 teams. How it's going to look? Like I was making sure to tell everyone it's going to be an exciting game nonetheless. And we see 2 explosive plays and an onside kick for the Clarksville Wildcats.
And Clarksville's on it. It's going to be their football. Owen Richards, the sophomore kicker, with the Greenway Kia kickoff. Perfectly executed. And special teams going the way of the Wildcats early on tonight.
Isaac Zilkowski, the kicking coach, I wonder if he had anything to do with this. 2 0-2 teams pulling out all the stops. And what about that? The kicker making contact with the lineman. I'm going to be quite frank. It's very hard as an offensive lineman in all the levels of football I've played, SEC, you go to NFL camp. It's hard for specialists to earn respect. But when I see a kicker got contact like that to get the football, it gets me so fired up. I wonder if Coach Z had anything to do with that.
And Clarksville's going to get another crack at it offensively, but good pressure there from the Rossview front, forcing Pledger to throw it away. Hasselhoon getting after him, brings up 2nd and 10.
Our key to the game for Rossview is to stop the run, and they did it so well early, but Clarksville attacking on different angles, really unbalancing the defense at this point. Probably have their head spinning. They've had a few formation issues when they get into that tight goal line.
35 seconds left in the first, but officials sending both teams back to the sideline here. Not sure the reason why just yet. Let's see if we hear from Ken Killebrew as he'll have a quick conference.
This is a rivalry game, Lucas. I think there might be some jawing, some physicality. It's always been like that.
Don't see any flags on the field. See if they drop one here. What do you remember about the intensity of this rivalry? You guys, when you were at Clarksville High School, got into some intense matchups in these games.
Everything you could imagine. The social media storm beforehand, right? And that was when social media was really a new thing. So everyone was a little more untempered with it. They didn't know how much things could come back to bite them. It was physical. There was a lot of talking. And I just remember every single game I played came down to the wire, no matter how either team did. As we're waiting to get an official call here from our referees. But it never amounted to a brawl. Like some SEC games just turn into a brawl. As we can finally get a good look at. There we go. I got you, Coach. Coach Isaac Shelby in the yellow visor. Love you. You need to get me one of those, Coach. Straight up. I need a big one though, XL.
We're talking about a Clarksville High School Hall of Famer. I figured you just had access to that stuff.
Well, he's going to watch the TV copy. I have no doubt. So this is my pledge to you, Coach.
12th season for Isaac Shelby. Again, back-to-back undefeated regular seasons for Clarksville High School. Never been done before in school history. Isaac Shelby designing that run in the last 2 years. But as we mentioned, the back-to-back first-round playoff exits as well, with the first loss of each of the last 2 seasons were in the first round of the 6A playoffs against the West Tennessee team. So it was interesting talking to Coach Shelby about the 0-2 start. He said, no, this is what we need. We need that adversity to be better prepared for those late season matchups. Clarksville's average margin of victory last season, Bruno, 29.7 points per game.
Yeah, and that's kind of the conversation around, because they play in 6A football. You think of teams like Oakland, you think of teams like Riverdale, right? But in the Clarksville area, they don't get to go out there and get those games in the regular season. So they invited Blackman down. They have Springfield, a long-standing rivalry, but a 4A team, right? They're going as far as they can to try and find the competition so that when they do get into that playoff run, because at the end of the day, what do people care about? How you do in the postseason. So they can have those undefeated seasons. They are looking for playoff success, and they're trying to set it up with their schedule this year.
Rossview looking to work their way back into the postseason as well. Clock issues seem to be what's holding us up for the moment. We were inside the final minute of the first quarter. Now you see it reads 12 on the clock. So we'll see if we can't get it sorted out with this crew. 16-6 is the Clarksville lead. Both offenses punting on their first possessions. Clarksville was able to strike first with a 24-yard touchdown from Caden Pledger to Kanan Orton over the top. 2-point conversion was good, and then Rossview had a quick response on a big play. 54-yard touchdown. Dawson Deere finding Beckett Hasselhoon. That made it 8-6. The 2-point no good from Rossview on their try, and then Clarksville capitalizing on a blocked punt, turning it into points with a 25-yard rushing score from Bryson Ellington. And the 2-point was run in by Jamarcus Watkins, and that has us where we are, 16-6. The Wildcats' advantage.
In an interesting spot right now, Lucas. It's been about 5 to 8 minutes of conversation between officials, school officials, head coaches. Not sure entirely what's going on. It didn't look very physical in between the whistles. There was some physicality, but none out of the ordinary of football.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're hoping for the best here with the clock issues, but we have seen situations in high school football where the clock is kept on the field. And if that's the case, I think Sammy Kincaid might be working overtime down there to keep us updated.
Absolutely. Get your running shoes on, Sammy. And if you don't have any, take the ones you got off. Because that's probably what it winds up being, just a clock issue where they have to, and they're letting both head coaches know this is just another layer of adversity that you're going to have to deal with.
They do put the 35 seconds back on the clock in the first quarter, so we'll see if we're back up and running here. See Rossview head coach Strady Young looking on. Region 5 6A opener tonight as well, as if there weren't enough stakes with this crosstown rivalry. And it's a region that looks a lot different than it did last year for both of these squads. A lot of unfamiliar opponents. You get some of those Clarksville area matchups, certainly like this one, but talk about playing programs like John Overton, Antioch, not teams that these squads are necessarily used to facing. That should make for some interesting matchups later in the year as they head to Metro Nashville for a few of those late season games.
That is something out of the ordinary both these teams are doing now as they send both teams back to the sideline. But when I played at Clarksville, we were all just playing Clarksville teams over and over. Northeast, Northwest, Kenwood. It was all just one big circle that we never were able to bridge out of. So it's an exciting thing to see Clarksville football expand not only to the mid-state, but outside of it as well.
Well, we were working through clock issues. Now we've got lightning in the area. Let's send it down to Sammy Kincaid for an update on what we've got going on the field.
Hey guys, the official that was trying to help with the clock as he was walking away, he said, I'm sorry guys, there is lightning within 8 miles of the area, so we're going to have to shut it down for 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, once the lightning has stopped, then that's whenever the clock will be able to start playing ball again.
All right, thanks, Sammy. Yeah, wondered if we could stave off the thunderstorms tonight. A few matchups around Middle Tennessee did get an early start with some kickoffs moved up. But here this game will hit the pause button for, as Sammy said, at least 30 minutes here. 16-6 is the Clarksville lead as they'll both head back into the locker room. We have had no rain. There were a few drops a couple hours before kickoff, but really it's largely been a beautiful night in Middle Tennessee. But following precautions here in week 3, 2 0-2 teams, and right on cue, you're talking about early adversity in this game. How about throwing a little lightning delay into the mixer here of this rivalry?
Man, you cannot absolutely call it a little bit different than what has happened here tonight, especially in the rivalry game that's going on. This is the biggest game in the city, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Both coaches, it's basically an early halftime too after the first quarter, so maybe some adjustments that could be made.
So if you're Clarksville head coach Isaac Shelby, who you see there discussing things with the staffer, your Rossview head coach Strady Young, you just spent pretty much the entire week getting fired up for this game, getting prepared for this game, the lead up to kickoff, and now here you are with a whole reset near the end of the first quarter. How do you handle this?
Well, I always mention it, Lucas. You got to get back to the middle. One of my favorite Tim Corbinisms that I stole from him before our Ole Miss game, where we beat the brakes off of them. You have great success. Maybe you do good in the season, do good in the game. You have a big play. Well, you got to get back to the middle, or maybe that you've fallen behind. Right? You got to keep your spirits up. I don't imagine that these teams will do many football adjustments. It'll be more like some of the penalties that we've seen Rossview commit, we'll try and get that cleaned up, especially on a special team side. Maybe get back to our running game, but for the most part, it's just keeping people active, keeping them moving, keeping their spirits high, because you can also get a little bit boring in there for some of these young men.
Well, we've still got a lot of game to go in the Warfield Shield, but we're going to have to wait to keep playing this one. Clarksville leads Rossview 16-6, 35 seconds remain in the first quarter, but we have hit a lightning delay. So we're going to send it to break, and we'll be back shortly to carry on this game and keep you updated on MyTV 30. All right, let's play some football. Welcome back to Clarksville, Tennessee. It is week 3 and the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday night rivals presented by UA Local 572. After a 30-minute weather delay, we are ready to resume action at Rossview High School. The 24th annual Battle for the Warfield Shield, 2 bitter rivals kicking off the Region 5-6A slate. Glad to have you with us. Appreciate you sticking around tonight on My TV 30. Bruno Reagan, Lucas Panzica with you in the booth. Sammy Kincaid down on the sidelines. Let's catch up, shall we, to what happened as we are at the end of the first quarter at the moment. And Clarksville was able to strike first over the top with a deep touchdown to Kanan Orton. 2-point conversion good. Rossview had an answer to Beckett Hasselhoon, 54 yards.
Absolutely. We've seen 2 run-heavy teams hit it over the air for their first 2 scores. Rossview, they're having a little bit of issues lining up, and that set up some early 2-point conversions. Plus, we have Ellington right here on the run. Bryson Ellington, the senior team captain. And right before we went to our weather delay, Clarksville kicked an onside and recovered as we got to the end of our first quarter.
That was kicker Owen Richards executing the onside kick. And here we are, 16-6, the Clarksville lead with under a minute to go in the first quarter. So still a lot of ball left to be played in this rivalry. And a few fans filing out did head home, but there are plenty more left in the building for what is one of the most intense rivalries in all of Middle Tennessee. Bruno Reagan, you know something about that as a Clarksville High School alum and Hall of Famer. But we were talking about it before going to break to hit that weather delay. You're getting hyped up for this game. It's the talk of the town all week long. Come out, play most of a first quarter, and then go back into the locker room for 30 minutes. How do you manage that if you're head coach Strady Young of Rossview and Isaac Shelby of Clarksville?
Well, you don't make it a bigger deal than what it is, right? I mean, I've had weather delays. I remember being at Henry County once, and then we're not even in the locker room. We're in a gym. We're just in a gym waiting, right? And you sit around, you talk about what you've seen with your teammates, what things are going well, and you really just don't panic. You have to have a sense of stoic, a sense of consistency. And when we were looking at the coaches as they head on and they warm up, it looks like it's just going to, be business as usual for these 2 teams.
Momentum was on the side of the Clarksville Wildcats when we hit that delay. The onside kick turned into touchdown. Is there something there that could help Rossview in this moment to come out with a bit of a fresh start, even though they're facing a 10-point deficit?
While Clarksville did have the momentum in the overall tempo of the game, Rossview has done, which the score doesn't show, but our key to the game for Rossview was they had to stop the run game. I mean, Clarksville is a triple option team. They're going to be run first, run heavy. Now they've gotten a lot of their scores over. They've gotten their first score over the air. Their second one was off of their fullback dive that hit quick. But Rossview was already doing well what we needed them to key on. So it's not even about shifting momentum. It's just about keeping up what we've done well up to this point and securing the middle of the football field.
You can see Rossview, head coach Strady Young seated there, first-year coach. The defensive play caller for these Hawks for the last 2 seasons, but was promoted to replace the retired Todd Hood after a long and successful run as head coach at Rossview. And now Strady Young coordinates the offense in terms of the game plan. He doesn't call the plays week to week. That's offensive coordinator Zach Arias. But he does game plan the offense for this team. And right now this Rossview offense is being outrushed 61 yards to 8. Clarksville outgaining Rossview 114 yards to 68. And we're going to pick up right where we left off with the Clarksville offense on the field with quarterback Caden Pledger. After the onside kick, Clarksville with a 10-point lead, 35 seconds to go in the first quarter. Let's play football on My TV 30. With the option offense, wide open spaces for Avari Galbraith. He's across the 10. Galbraith gets the edge. Touchdown, Clarksville. Right out of the locker room, Avari Galbraith. 46 yards to the house.
The first option in the triple option, the offensive line does a great job pushing their defensive line for Rossview about 3 yards down the field, and it looks like they didn't have a key for Avari at all. Avari ran completely free, and that's what you don't want coming out of a weather delay with a long official timeout. Momentum swung to Clarksville's side before he went in, and now it's even more so on their side with an explosive run and a scoregami of unknown proportions right now with a 22-6 lead pending this conversion.
on the first play out of the weather delay. 2-point try again for Clarksville. Flag is down, as it was going to be a direct snap to Josh Anderson. Offside on Clarksville will back up the 2-point try, and we'll see if they decide to bring out the extra point team.
Coach Shelby putting up the ones. You got to assume that means I want 1 point now. It'd make it a 23-6 game if the conversion is good.
See, this is why they pay you the big bucks to be up here. Isaac Shelby, year 12, the winningest coach in Clarksville history, 68-55 coming into this year. Back-to-back undefeated regular seasons in 2023 and 2024, followed by first-round playoff exits. The Wildcats are 0-2 coming into today, but they feel like they're more tested in the early season for those playoff games. As the PAT will be good from Owen Richards, but there is another flag down. And that's going to continue to back it up for Clarksville. Richards has only attempted 1 PAT this season. He's 1 for 1. Clarksville, a team that really likes to go for 2. They love those matchups near the goal line. So, Richards going to get another try at it. This one amounts to a 30-yard field goal.
Another flag. A little bit of inconsistent football coming out of the weather delay outside of the explosive play.
Ken Killebrew, our referee. So they'll move it back 5 yards up after an illegal substitution on the Hawks.
Half the distance.
So to your point, choppy restart, aside from the 46-yard touchdown scamper from Galbraith. Take 3 for the Clarksville Wildcats in this extra point attempt. He drills it. Owen Richards is good, and Clarksville leads Rossview 23-6. 1 play, 46 yards, 28 seconds off the clock.
Good catch there, Lucas. You mentioned and asked me as we were coming out of halftime, not halftime, the weather delay that felt like a halftime. What do you tell your teams to keep them steady, keep them stable, get out and ready to play? Well, you have to be able to know your assignments and execute. With the same football that we practice and play all the time, there was just 20 minutes in between. It's essentially an extra halftime. Rossview, with a load of penalties coming out there on the extra points attempt, and Clarksville as well. A little bit nasty, but Clarksville does benefit from the explosive play by Avari Galbraith.
So Rossview in need of an answer here as we near the end of the first quarter in Clarksville, Tennessee.
Not often you get 2 hours into a broadcast and you're still in the first quarter of football, Lucas. Welcome to the Warfield Shield game.
They talk about this matchup all offseason in this town, and Clarksville's been on the right side of it since 2016. Rossview's going to climb out of a hole to change those fortunes, as that's going to bounce right by at the 20-yard line, Robert Hall, and he is corralled, brought down inside the 5. Disaster on special teams for Rossview. It's been a theme tonight. Josh Anderson got downfield on the Greenway Kia kickoff.
The senior receiver and defensive back, Josh Anderson, is just trudging down the field. He's the first one there to make contact in good pursuit to the football. And just another mental mistake there by Payne of Rossview. Having just a tough time are the Hawks getting back into the order of playing consistent football. You know, you have to be able to receive the kicks. You have to be able to line up. You have to be able to substitute. It's just not going well for Coach Young right there.
Yeah, Cayenne Payne on the return, my mistake. So, Rossview marooned on its own 2-yard line, and Dawson Deere comes back out, the junior quarterback, first-year starter. And they're going to keep it on the ground, looking for breathing room. They're not going to get it. That's going to be close. We'll say he got out of his own end zone. Max Cunningham nearly had him down for a sack, and that will be the final play of the first quarter.
We take a look as the ball does cross. That is a good call by the officials right there. Wherever the ball is, not where the body ends up. Forward progression of the football player cannot be restricted by the defender. But a great job by Cunningham, almost selling it to getting that safety call. Remember, we don't. And this is high school football. We don't have instant replays, right? So you can get away with some of the closer calls. But a good play by the team captain.
C.J. Stuckey avoids the safety, but Rossview has work to do. Backed up to its own inch-yard line, trailing 23-6. In the second quarter we go. Special teams a talking point. Like it's been a strength for Rossview this season. Usually been a strength of theirs, and it's flipped.
If Rossview doesn't get it together quick, they're going to get running clogged. If Rossview doesn't get it together, they're going to get running clogged before halftime. Good point on the special teams.
Start of the second quarter in Clarksville, and everything going the way of the Wildcats. 23-6 in the Battle of the Warfield Shield. As we remind you to stay tuned for the United States Navy halftime report. We're going to highlight this week's Sonic Scholar athletes, have participating school administrator interviews, plus highlights from here and across the nation and more. The United States Navy forged by the sea. 30-minute weather delay that helped bridge the gap between the end of the first and the start of the second. And Clarksville came back out of the locker room after that weather delay and immediately was able to strike with a 46-yard touchdown run by Avari Galbraith. And the kickoff return has Rossview backed up inside their own 1-yard line. The ball bouncing past Cain Payne, fielding it and tackled there. So Clarksville with ears pinned here on second down. This is going to be Deere just burrowing under the pile, trying to get anything he can. And he's able to pick up about 1.5 yards.
When you get in this situation at a level of football, your whole goal, the entire goal, is to make space for your punter. You want to play leveled football. So our level one, right, we have to get a first down for our punter. That way, if we do have to kick, we can at least give our defense a shot. Then you get a second first down. That way we can flip the field. And then your third first down sets up your original play calling and your typical strip calling. But for Rossview right now, being backed up on 3rd and long, it's going to be a tough position.
3rd and 10. Rossview on its own 2. Dawson Deere, first-year starter. After backing up Reed Bryant the last couple of seasons, will keep it on the ground. Stuckey runs into a wall, but it'll be enough to keep it out of the end zone to bring up 4th down. And Galbraith, who's had a great game tonight, the one to come in and make the stop. And here feels like a big moment for this Rossview squad, Bruno, that's really always touted special teams, was a big part of their reputation under head coach Todd Hood. They blocked 2 punts last week in the losing effort to Kirkwood, but the special teams have gone completely against the Rossview Hawks so far tonight.
Absolutely. They had their own botches. They had the onside kick go against them. Now we need to see them operate in a circumstance that you don't really practice a lot. This might be something you hit once a week, if that, outside of camp. So we'll see how Rossview does.
Punt is high and bouncing at the 25 where it is down. And it will give Clarksville excellent field position. Punted away by sophomore Ethan Cox. Payne the one to down it. And Clarksville has a chance to build on its momentum here, as they'll start the drive already knocking on the door of the red zone. And we'll see if that defensive stand from Clarksville qualifies for our school bus stop of the game. We'll let you know during the fourth quarter. Remember, the law in every state requires drivers to always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. Presented by NHTSA. So here we go. Pledger back out with the Clarksville offense. Ellington gets the give. Wrangled down at the line of scrimmage by a Rossview front that comes in here, Bruno, with a formation including 5 linebackers, anticipating this Clarksville triple option.
Yeah, we were talking about how personnel might enter in more to their formation on defense than Clarksville's scheme, but with 5 linebackers, you're able to make a lot of keys and cover a lot of the football field, which is what Clarksville's offense does. They have a lot of options, hence the triple option, right? And they started off really well in the run defense, led by Philip Shipstead, our player to watch coming in, Coach Ship, but they faltered a little bit here late in the first quarter.
Keeper Pledger had everybody fooled. He scampers in. Caden Pledger, touchdown Wildcats. And Clarksville, again, out of the locker room from the weather delay with all the momentum. 23 yards for a South College touchdown.
That was a magician's trick right there, the triple option. They've been hammering Ellington up the middle, so what Pledger does is he pulls, jumps up into his spot, tucks the football away, and the keys get lost there. As there was a flag on the play, it's actually going to be called back, Lucas.
Wow, late call coming in, and it's going to wipe away the touchdown. We'll back it up to the original line of scrimmage right at the 25-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and 10. Spot foul. So Clarksville is going to come out and try to do it again. This time, Pledger will hand it off, and Galbraith has no room to run. That time it was Coach Ship, Philip Shipstead, in on the tackle, the bona fide leader of this Rossview football team.
Rossview needed that penalty too. Everything was going against Rossview coming out of the weather delay, and immediately before, a lot of momentum on Clarksville High's side of the football field. They were able to also force this 3rd and long now, so this could be a very important stop in getting Rossview back into this game.
3rd and 8. Remaining fans making noise on a big 3rd down. Up the middle, breaking loose. Ellington runs it in. And Clarksville just sending wave after wave with this rushing attack. Bryson Ellington has his 2nd touchdown of the night, 3rd of the season.
The same with the first touchdown for Ellington. Watch number 20 up in the middle. He's following the walls of his offensive lineman. There is a flag on the field, a lot of contact after the play from the Rossview Hawks. A lot of frustration boiling over, but right there is the punishing, brutal, up the middle attack that Clarksville has with Ellington out of that H-back, fullback position. We'll get the official call here.
Touchdown is good. After the play, we have unsportsmanlike conduct on Black.
So that 15-yard penalty will be on Rossview after the fact. Grady Young getting an explanation.
I saw it on the tail end, Lucas. It was just a lot of frustration boiling over from the Rossview players and a lot of contact from them after the whistle.
So that one will count. 23 yards, that time by Bryson Ellington, to make it a 29-6 Clarksville lead. And they've done a nice job disguising whether it's going to be a 2-point or an extra point attempt as they send out the kicker. And they're going to shift into a 2-point play with Dawson Smith. No, getting the snap is Josh Anderson as he burrows in. 2-point conversion is good. Clarksville leads 31-6 in the battle for the Warfield Shield. And the Wildcats are running wild after the weather delay. Ellington with the second score of the night, and it's a 31-6 lead for the Wildcats.
I didn't see nothing.
Tonight's broadcast of Friday Night Rivals can also be seen streaming live on mytv30web.com, Fox 17 Facebook Live, and YouTube. Brought to you by South College, where dreams find direction.
Since the weather delay near the end of the first quarter, Clarksville has come out and outscored Rossview 15-0 in search of their 8th consecutive win in the Warfield Shield. This crosstown rivalry named after Warfield Boulevard here in Clarksville, Tennessee. Two premier programs in this town going head-to-head for the Region 5-6A opener. And Bruno Reagan, it is the run game that is broken wide open for Clarksville with rushing scores of 25, 46, and 23 yards. The latest, a 23-yard score by Bryson Ellington that has Owen Richards teeing up another Greenway Kia kickoff.
You have to imagine, as the Wildcats are going all the way back on this kickoff.
So they've assessed 15 yards of a penalty. The penalty after the touchdown was called against Rossview.
I think they...
So they might have misspoken on who the penalty was against.
They misspoke and they mispointed. They actually wanted the penalty, and from what I saw, it looked like it was going to be on Rossview, but they actually called it on the Wildcats. So Rossview will start with favorable field position here.
And Richards will boot it to the 30. It is fielded on the run by Payne, and now Rossview finally will get some sort of break on special teams, getting to start a drive on the 43-yard line with work to do.
And it was a good look by Payne. When you get that much open field, that is like the one rule breaker where you get to get a little bit lateral and try and find that crease. I mean, I'm taking that home run shot, especially when you're looking at the score every single time at that position. You're trying to get your team back in quick.
So Rossview looking for a spark on offense has Dawson Deere wearing 9 and Beckett Hasselhoon wearing 7 in the same backfield. The junior hands to Stuckey. And this Clarksville front gives up about 3 yards with the pile being pushed. Appreciate you being with us. If you're watching from home, maybe after heading out of any Middle Tennessee game that's been delayed and even postponed in some cases due to lightning strikes in the area, we're happy to still be playing football here in Clarksville. Lucas Panzica, Bruno Reagan in the booth, Sammy Kincaid down on the field. A Week 3 matchup here between two 0-2 teams looking for that first win and looking to do it in an intense rivalry atmosphere. Little trickery here. Hasselhoon pitches it out to Stuckey, and he's going to have to scamper out. That one covered up well. Closing in was Carter Pledger, the quarterback, getting some snaps on defense.
It's good by the Rossview Hawks to, on the first down, to give them some space, give offensive coordinator Zach Arias some options, but that's still on third down. you can't have a 3-and-out with this sort of field position right here. You have to find a way to take advantage. You have to assume that if they do go over the air, that Deere will do whatever he can to extend the play at this point. They very much need to score on this drive. You don't want to say must-have, but this is going to be a must-have possession.
Timeout, Rossview.
And to your point, Strady Young agrees with you. Big 3rd and 6 upcoming for the Rossview Hawks, down 31-6 at home in week 3. We'll be right back on MyTV 30. So they got to put it in the air, right? Yeah. You played with, oh, okay.
I was out there.
No, what were you playing? What position were you playing?
When I was little, I was trying to be on the field, but eventually, guess
You got
what?
goalie, yeah. I love it.
Oh, he's doing great.
All of us would like to take a moment to thank the wonderful sponsor partners Sonic, Tennessee Army National Guard, South College, Bart Durham Injury Law, Western Kentucky University, BMC Metalworks, Wilson Bank and Trust, Josh Houston and Associates, and UA Local 572, who through their contributions to the program make these games possible for you viewers at home. And we'd especially like to thank tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their continued support. Clarksville High School, Rossview High School.
And we'd like to thank you for being with us tonight, week 3 of the 2025 TSSAA football season. We're warding off thunderstorms. Bruno Reagan's doing his rain dance in the booth, doing everything we can to finish out this rivalry matchup here. And Rossview's doing everything they can to turn around this Clarksville lead. The Wildcats up 31-6, under 8 minutes to go. And you got to tip the cap to the student section sticking around after the 30-minute weather delay in this one.
Absolutely. It's hard to explain to others, but imagine your most precious, your most valuable rivalry, the one you hold close. There was a sense of irony when I was speaking about, Auburn, Alabama, Michigan, but that's what it is for this city. This is the game everyone has circled, and if you have a great season or a bad season, it doesn't matter if you lose to Rossview or Clarksville. This game means everything, and they're going to stick it out.
And this feels like a huge 3rd and 6 for Rossview. Beckett Hasselhoon in at quarterback. He's going to tuck and run. Nowhere to go. Chopped down in the backfield to bring up 4th down. Caden Farrow comes in to make the hit.
Watch Caden Farrow step in. He's going to where his running back is aiming for. He's not chasing the man. He's attacking the point of attack, and he's able to get low and chop him down. A great play there by the Clarksville defense.
But we might have had some extracurriculars on the field at the Rossview sideline as a flag is down. We'll hear from Ken Killebrew, our white hat, tonight. That's going to go against Rossview. They're going to go with a holding on the Hawks. Looked like there was some pushing and shoving on the sideline. The flag came in late, and that's going to back it up and make it a 4th and forever.
The game.
And there's the personal foul call.
There we go.
Offense number 3. That's 15 yards. 4th down.
This game has been an absolute roller coaster so far, Lucas. Hey, buddy, welcome to Clarksville, Tennessee. This is how we roll down here. It's a controlled level of chaos that we enjoy, okay? We enjoy this style. Clarksville getting it done so far. Rossview looking to chop back in, but they have 4th and forever as we get a look at C.J. Stuckey, the running back for Rossview, one of their main producers.
So personal foul is the call, and it's going to make it 4th and 23. And Rossview going to be forced to punt it away again. Had a punt blocked in the first quarter. Reminder that their starting punter, Max Casto, is out after tearing his ACL last week. And that one will bounce past the 30. So that is well done from Ethan Cox, the sophomore, but it does give the ball back to Clarksville with all the momentum in a 31-6 advantage.
Clarksville going to maintain their tough rushing attack. They've had a lot of success with Ellington up the middle. They've had enough success with Pledger over the air. They have Galbraith, who's been their option on the edge right now. So many options for our UA Local 572 player of the game. Stay tuned coming up in the fourth quarter.
UA Local 572, the premier trainer of workers in all aspects of the piping, plumbing, welding, and HVAC industry. Pledger and the Clarksville offense have been in a rhythm in the rushing attack, and they're going to keep it on the ground here. Rolling off a tackle in the backfield is Jamarcus Watkins, was our player to watch pregame. The three-star prospect who they've given the ball to 8 times rushing coming into this game, Bruno, but a net of -2 yards. And there's a clear intention to get the speedster back up going again in the run game.
Absolutely. This is going to be a good time to do it, too, especially when the game is starting to shift into the favor of Clarksville. You're going to be able to force feed. Maybe you don't have to assess, hash and distance and whatever other options you want to maximize your offensive potential. You can start feeding guys now.
And that was Watkins' first carry of the ball game. They're going to go up the middle again. Bryson Ellington just dragging defenders up near the first down marker. And that'll bring up, it looks like, a 3rd and short for the Wildcats.
Great double team there by the Wildcat offensive line, specifically the left guard and the left tackles, Caden Binkley and Ben Dyke. Good job by the youngsters. Bryson Ellington with a tough drive. And, folks, we have some news for you. Lucas, listen, I'm Clarksville homegrown. I'm going to let you give them the bad news.
We have hit another lightning delay in Clarksville, Tennessee, with the Wildcats leading the Hawks 31-6 in the battle for the Warfield Shield. We had 30 minutes idle near the end of the first quarter. We have played less than half of the second quarter, and another delay with lightning strikes across Middle Tennessee. Every lightning strike within an 8-mile radius gives us a 30-minute delay. Games across the mid-state have been affected by it here in Week 3. Some games have been postponed. But a game of this magnitude, Bruno, just another thing throwing a wrench into things. It's the region opener. It's a rivalry matchup. And now both coaches are having to manage this stop and start with the weather coming through Clarksville.
I mean, on the one hand, this is an opportunity for Rossview, who has lost the momentum, to maybe come up with a plan to get back into the game. On another, this is just an unfortunate series of events. As you see the flashing on your screen, that's not your television. That is the skyline and the lightning that we're currently seeing. It's been fairly consistent. We were hoping for a clean game, and there was a lot of optimism about getting a clean one, but it's been a tough go so far here in Clarksville, Tennessee.
And it's been a beautiful night is the thing. It's been
There's no weather. Yeah, there's
right.
no weather outside of the flashing of lightning. It's just
not a drop
beautiful.
of precipitation. 71 degrees, a nice little breeze in the air, but some lightning strikes in the sky. And it's got this officiating crew maybe having deeper discussions about what to do with this football game.
Man, I'm hoping they cancel this guy, man.
Our stats man and resident meteorologist Brian Stegall keeping us updated with the radar.
It got ugly.
He told us it was just going to blow right over, so I'm going to choose to blame Brian on this one.
We're getting a look at the live radar. Let's see. Meteorologist Bruno Reagan here tuning in. This is my first clip watching it. And we're seeing the storms move to Nashville, but Clarksville is sadly in the path of Nashville, Brian. I don't know if you knew that right now. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that weather for you guys at home.
So 31-6 is the Clarksville lead. 6:21 to go in the second quarter. And another weather delay in Middle Tennessee. Again, 30 minutes for any lightning strike within an 8-mile radius. So we're going to hit the pause button one more time and hopefully come back with more football. 30-minute delay in Clarksville as the Wildcats lead the Hawks 31-6 on My TV 30.